Hi, I'm Heather from booktubes, and today is Dark Romance Recommendations. This is a collab with my fellow hosts of the Dark Romance Readathon. This is for round 2, but it can be any dark romance reader at any point. My co-hosts are Tamika from Library of Tomes, Izzy from Happy for Now. I almost said Happy from Izzy for Now. Naima from Naima's Reads, and Ashley from Ashley Reads. And so we are doing a collab. We're all giving you recommendations. I haven't done a dark romance recommendation in almost a year, and so I guess we were due. Some of these I have recommended before, but I did want to go ahead and give a recommendation for every prompt for the readathon, and I was trying to avoid the ones that I know that my co-hosts also love, so it wouldn't just be, you know, us repeating the same books over and over again, but that might happen. It definitely might happen with some authors, but I tried to avoid some of the obvious ones that I figured they would do. First one, removal of a body part. For this, I'm going to recommend Bound by Aveda Weiss. This is Wed in the Wild #1. It is a prequel novella, and the full-length version is not out yet, so you are not going to end on a happy for now or happily ever after. It just cuts off on their journey before they reach their destination. But this is hate effing, and at the beginning, off page, but in the beginning, they clip the harpy's wings. So that is one of the things. They kill her pack, they clip her wings, they muzzle her, and then she's going to be in an arranged marriage with their female alpha, and these two wares take her on their journey, and they are going to bang out some aggression, and she could use the release. And so even though she hates them, there's a thin line between hate and lust, and they definitely explore it consensually. However, it is very kinky. It would be perfect for the readathon because it is so short, and yeah, I highly recommend. Next, I have Touch Her and Die. For this, I have the Tyrant Alpha's Rejected Mate, which is the 5-packs #1 by Cate Wells. This is interesting because in the beginning, it's not Touch Her and Die. It's, you know, he rejects her in front of the entire pack. She loses a fight because she's never shifted before, and, you know, he doesn't seem to care. But as the story progresses and as the layers get unfolded of the story and of their background, you find out that he, in fact, has always been Touch Her and Die, but maybe just not completely aware of it. And also, it does have some excellent groveling. Part of this is because when he rejects her, she's in so much pain that the witch that is part of their wolf pack takes away her side of the mate bond, but she does not take away his side. So his wolf won't let him leave her alone, and she doesn't care, and it's great. Next, I have Criminal. For this, I want to recommend Stuff for Love by B Love. I think a lot of times that we kind of do romanticize Mafia or motorcycle clubs, and we still tend to have prejudice against any criminals that are black or brown. And I think that that is a thing in the romance space. So for this one, I really wanted to recommend something that wasn't just Mafia or motorcycle club, since it is criminal general. And this was one of the most interesting books I've ever read. It is, again, short and perfect for a readathon because it's a novella, but she and her husband are having marriage trouble, and so her husband hires a thug basically to rob them, and then he can rescue his wife from the thug, and then she will want him again. Obviously that plan's not going to work out, but this book is so interesting because you have points of view from the husband, the wife, and the robber. And the robber takes one look at the wife and is like, yeah, she's gonna be mine. And it goes places I did not think it was gonna go. And it was so interesting and so twisty and turny in such a short space. And I just really, really enjoyed it. I read it a couple years ago, and it has really stuck with me. I could still tell you like a bunch of things that happen in this. Is not vague at all. Next, I have Family Rivalry, and for this I want to recommend The Woman with the Ring, which is Costa Family #2 by Jessica Gadziala. This is a Mafia marriage of convenience, but it is a marriage of convenience where they are from warring families, and his organization, his family, is being kept out of the loop by the new head of the 5 families. And so he kidnaps her and then has a meeting with her family. And when her family is in the room, he explains that either she's going to marry him or he's going to kill everybody in this room. And so obviously, rather than watching her family die, she chooses to marry him. They get married that day, you know, is an arrangement, a business arrangement. He does have some honor, so he will not force her. He will not step out on her. But they don't know each other. And it's definitely hate to love. But it's interesting because their entire relationship comes about because they are a family rivalry. That's the only reason why they know each other. Next, public sex. And for this, I have The Enforcer, which is the family number 3 by Katrina Jackson. You can read these as standalones if you want to read the whole series. I would recommend reading them in order. They definitely do build on each other. But if you're only interested in one, you could absolutely read just that one. This one is the oldest sister. She's gone to try and find the sister that has gone to Italy and shacked up with the new man and isn't answering anybody. So she and the first girl from the prequel novella, they go to Italy. I love this one because there's public sex. There's a bigger heroine and a bigger hero. There's polyamorous relationship that she left. Is explicitly child-free. Both of them never want to have children. He is submissive and likes pain. She really likes public displays. And it was so good. I just loved them. I loved them. I loved the family. I loved dealing with the family. And I loved how she stood up for him right away. And I just really liked their dynamic so much. There is some excellent public sex. And like I said, explicitly child-free. So if that is something that you are interested in reading, this is one of those. So it's very good. Obviously not a very common trope in the Mafia world. An excellent execution of it here. And you have Badass Heroine, and for this I have Burn, which is Dark in You #1 by Suzanne Wright. This is the only book on this list that is not available in Kindle Unlimited. This is a demon romance, and you have the most powerful demon in the world and the kind of not like other girls demon who is maybe more powerful than she appears. And the demons in this world have fated mates, and they also have anchors. Your anchor and your mate aren't necessarily the same person, but she finds out that she's the anchor for the most powerful demon in the world. And he and his demon are a little bit obsessed with her, which is very unusual because his demon just gets bored very quickly. So Knox really expects for this thing with Harper to go nowhere because, you know, his demon might be interested right now, but in a week he probably won't be. But they aren't very good at predicting what Harper is going to do or how she's going to do things because she doesn't have a lot of the same motivations that are common amongst demons. And so because of that, he's very interested in her. I recommend the first 4 books in the series, which all follow this couple. The 5th book I really did not like because of certain triggers that are in it. But the first 4 books, highly recommend. And I feel like, you know, if you don't care overall about the whole plot, you definitely could read this first book as a standalone and not have to continue the series in order to see the couple reach any sort of resolution. They are a couple in book 1. Then Obsessive Hero, my favorite. This I have The Cleaner by Jessica Gadziala, which is Professionals #9. The Cleaner is actually OCD. Obsessively so, and a lot of that comes from PTSD from the military, and because of his need to clean. It's not that he can't be around mess, it's just that when his demons are acting up, he has to clean in order to get rid of it, and that is too much cleaning for any one residence. So, and he's also, like I said, very obsessive about it, so he's not going to miss anything. So he is the cleaner for the Fixers Agency. The Fixer Agency will fix whatever problem you have, whether that's a dead body that needs to disappear, or a affair that needs covered up, or a international incident that needs to be smoothed out. Whatever it is, the Fixer Agency can take care of it for you for a price. So obviously he is in charge of cleaning up the crime scenes. He gets rid of all the trace evidence. He gets rid of all the things so that nobody gets caught. However, because of his OCD tendencies and because he's trying to get rid of trace evidence, he uses this very specific cleaner. that he makes himself, and it can't be found on the market. And a true crime podcaster in town has realized that there are multiple crime scenes that were abnormally clean. And on top of that, they all had, or some of them had, that she was able to get to quickly, had this distinctive cleaning smell. And she has kind of become obsessed with this, and she thinks that there is a serial killer in town. And so the hacker for the fixer agency tells the cleaner, Finn, that this woman has caught on to him and he needs to change things up. And he is just kind of intrigued by her. So he arranges a meeting and things progress from there. And it's so good. Anxiety, all of it represented so well. It's so good. One of my favorites. And it really can be read as a standalone, although I love the entire series and I was really looking forward to his book. I definitely feel like you'll have no problem stepping into the world if you step in on this book. And then lastly, for a Mafia recommendation, I have Keeping Lily, which is Disciples #1 by Izzy Sweet and Sean Moriarty. This is one of my favorite crack Mafia romances, so this is just very insta love. It's very, I see you, you're the one for me, I'm gonna take you, and nobody and nothing, including you, is going to stop me. And this particular one, we have the head of the Mafia, Lucifer. They are the disciples, so they're mostly biblical names, but he is Lucifer, and he is owed a huge debt. And so he is looking into this guy, and he sees a picture of his wife. So he goes to this man's house in the middle of the night, wakes them out of bed, and the man offers his wife and children as payment for his debt. And the wife is not thrilled about this. But Lucifer is like, done. They're my family now. Goodbye. And this is so good. It's so interesting. I will say, if you don't want the very descriptive torture scenes, just skip any warehouse scene. If they're in the warehouse, they're going to dismember somebody and it's very graphic. So be aware of that. But it is easy to skip the warehouse scenes if you want, or skim, but it's definitely pretty high up there on the torture scale, the things that they do in the warehouse to their enemies. I love all these books. Taking Megan was my first one because he steals her from the wedding, but this one of my favorites in the series, and it is the beginning of the series, so it's a good place to start. That's it. Those are my dark romance recommendations. I know I have mentioned most of these before here and there. I do obviously have many dark romance videos, but in fact I will have the playlist linked below, hopefully, maybe, if I do that. Also, I'm wearing Tamika's merch, which is dark. I like my romances dark and spicy. Is that what that says? I like my books dark and spicy. The link is in her description for all of her videos. I will say the quality is really good. I really like this, so highly recommend. There you go. Yeah, I hope this gives you some recommendations for the readathon or whenever you want to read dark romance as the mood would strike. So thank you so much for watching. Bye!